The deep sea isn't just a silent kingdom of unknown creatures. It's also a graveyard of submarines, shrouded in countless tragedies and unsolved mysteries. Hey everyone, welcome back. From chilling tales of sea monsters during World War I to unexplained submarine sinkings in the Cold War, and the eerie voices that haunt crews in the silence. Did you find this video without subscribing to our channel? Then welcome aboard! And if you're enjoying it so far, why not hit that subscribe button? Each of these stories blurs the line between fact and myth, pulling us into the strange alien world of the deep. What really happened to UB-85, the Scorpion, and the Kursk? And why do submariners keep hearing things that shouldn't exist? Today we dive into the truth behind it all. Let's get started. UB-85. The story of the German submarine UB-85, active during World War I, is a strange blend of recorded fact and sea legend. On April 30, 1918, off the coast of Scotland, this submarine surrendered to the British Royal Navy's patrol ship HMS Coreopsis. The entire crew, including Lieutenant Günther Krech, the commanding officer, was taken prisoner. But what made the event so mysterious was the reason the captain gave for surrendering. According to Krech, the night before, while UB-85 was surfaced to recharge its batteries, it was attacked by a massive sea creature. In his testimony, he described the creature as having huge eyes, a bizarrely shaped skull, and razor-sharp teeth that sparkled in the moonlight. Krech claimed the beast attacked violently enough to damage the bow and deck gun of the submarine. The damage was so severe that UB-85 was no longer able to dive. The crew fought desperately to drive the creature away. Although it eventually disappeared, the submarine was left stranded and defenseless on the surface. After the British forces captured the crew, the damaged submarine sank beneath the waves. Some say it sank while being towed to port by HMS Coreopsis. Others believe it sank shortly after the crew abandoned ship due to the damage. Either way, the exact resting place of UB-85 remained a mystery for nearly a century. Then, in October 2016, engineers laying a power cable off the coast of Galloway, Scotland, discovered a remarkably well-preserved submarine wreck. Based on its size, features, and location, experts concluded that it was very likely UB-85. Although they couldn't confirm the hull number, the available data pointed strongly to that conclusion. The discovery once again sparked interest in Captain Krech's unusual claims. Some early reports even mentioned strange damage on the hull, suggesting a possible link to the captain's story. However, most experts and marine archaeologists favor more realistic explanations. The damage could have been caused by a collision with another vessel, floating debris, a mine, mechanical failure, or even human error. It's possible that the captain's story was a dramatic exaggeration of real events rather than complete fiction. Perhaps the crew had encountered a very large marine animal. Or maybe the story was simply invented to protect their honor after surrendering without a fight. The extreme stress of wartime may have also played a role in shaping such tales. So, while the wreck of UB-85 has now been found, its final voyage and the mysterious sea monster remain part of a living legend that still leaves room for imagination and further investigation. USS Scorpion. The story of the USS Scorpion, SSN 589, a U.S. Navy nuclear submarine, is one of the most tragic and mysterious events of the Cold War era. In May 1968, this attack submarine, once considered a symbol of American naval pride, suddenly vanished in the Atlantic Ocean along with its crew of 99. The Scorpion's final transmission came on May 21, 1968. It was a routine message reporting the submarine's current position and estimated arrival time at Norfolk Naval Base in Virginia. After that day, all communication stopped. Despite a large-scale search operation, no immediate trace of the vessel was found. To this day, rumors and speculation continue to swirl about the submarine's final journey. Some reports suggest that shortly before it disappeared, the Scorpion may have been pursued by an unidentified underwater object. However, official Navy reports and declassified documents contain no evidence of such a chase. The last message remained completely routine. Nearly 5 months later, in late October 1968, the U.S. Navy's research vessel Mizar located the wreck of the Scorpion. It was found roughly 460 miles southwest of the Azores, resting more than 9,800 feet below the surface. Images taken by deep-sea submersibles showed the submarine torn apart, with its hull violently destroyed. The photos made it clear that the vessel had experienced a catastrophic event. The Navy conducted several formal investigations, but none of them ever identified a definitive cause. As a result, more than 6 different theories have been proposed. One of the most widely accepted explanations is an accident involving one of the submarine's Mark 37 torpedoes. It's possible the torpedo had a hot run, meaning it malfunctioned and activated inside its launch tube, or even detonated by accident. Another theory blames an explosion in the battery compartment. Though the Scorpion was nuclear-powered, it also carried powerful backup batteries. According to this theory, hydrogen gas from the batteries may have ignited, causing a deadly explosion. Some have even suggested a mechanical failure led to the submarine sinking past its critical depth and being crushed. During the tense Cold War atmosphere, a collision or attack by a Soviet submarine was seriously considered at the time. But the Navy's official investigations found no proof of such an encounter, and the Soviet Union consistently denied any involvement. As if the tragedy wasn't unsettling enough, there's another disturbing detail. Just months before the final voyage, in early 1968, a seasoned officer named Lieutenant Commander Robert Fountain strongly requested reassignment from the Scorpion. He cited deep concerns over the submarine's technical condition and the quality of its maintenance. There are claims that he even said, "That boat is finished," though the accuracy of that statement is debated. Still, his official concerns about the Scorpion's safety were documented and remain part of the historical record. Even now, the loss of the USS Scorpion continues to stand as one of the U.S. Navy's greatest unsolved mysteries. Kursk. On August 12, 2000, the sinking of the Russian nuclear submarine K-141 Kursk in the Barents Sea became one of the most tragic events in the history of the Russian Navy. During a large-scale naval exercise, 2 massive explosions occurred on board, sending the submarine down to a depth of 354 feet, where all 118 crew members lost their lives. In the days following the disaster, early reports offered a glimmer of hope to the public. Russian rescue ships that reached the site of the sinking reportedly detected faint tapping noises coming from inside the sunken vessel, as if someone was sending out a distress signal. That sound raised hopes that some of the crew had survived and were desperately trying to communicate. But the signals were unclear and intermittent, and no meaningful message could be confirmed. Later, experts and authorities suggested the sounds may have been caused by the damaged hull settling on the seabed, noise from nearby vessels, or simply ambient underwater sounds. The grim truth came to light only later, when divers finally reached the 9th compartment at the rear of the submarine. It was confirmed that 23 crew members had survived the initial blast at the front of the vessel and gathered in this final refuge. The details of their final moments were revealed through farewell letters discovered alongside their bodies. The most well-known letter was written by Captain Lieutenant Dmitry Kolesnikov, the leader of the turbine group. It was dated 3:15 p.m. on August 12th, nearly 4 hours after the explosion. In the letter, he listed the names of the 23 survivors and wrote the following: "It's dark here and writing is difficult, but I'm trying to do it by touch. It seems there is little hope for rescue. Our chances are probably 10 to 20% at best. I hope someone will read this letter one day. I'm writing down the names of those in the 9th compartment. We are about to attempt an escape." In another section, he wrote words that would later haunt the world. "Everyone, stay strong. Don't lose hope just yet." A second note, believed to have been written later and barely legible, carried an even more heartbreaking message: "None of us will make it out." According to the investigation, the small amount of oxygen available in the sealed 9th compartment could have sustained life for only a few hours. The crew didn't die instantly from the explosion. They remained conscious, fully aware of their hopeless situation, and died gradually as time passed. The most likely causes of death were carbon monoxide poisoning, triggered when seawater reacted with a plate in the oxygen generator and caused a fire, or suffocation once the oxygen supply was fully depleted. The official cause of the disaster was determined to be a leak of hydrogen peroxide. It caused a training torpedo, the 6576A model known as Whale, to explode. That blast then triggered a chain reaction with other torpedoes. However, the Russian government's decision to reject foreign rescue offers, which might have enabled an evacuation, sparked speculation that the real story behind the tragedy may never be fully known. When silence starts to speak. Life aboard a submarine is completely cut off from the outside world. Day and night blur together. The repetitive routine starts to shape the crew's minds in strange ways. One of the most bizarre phenomena sailors talk about is something they call Submariner's syndrome, or sometimes just voices in the silence. It refers to auditory hallucinations. During long deployments underwater, some crew members begin to hear sounds or voices that shouldn't exist. These can include unknown voices, fragments of melodies, the sound of women or children singing, or even children laughing. These eerie experiences are most often reported by veterans who served aboard older diesel-electric submarines, such as the Soviet Foxtrot class or the 641B class Somme. Built starting in the late 1950s, these submarines were extremely cramped. The diesel engines and machinery were also incredibly loud. When the submarine wasn't running silently on electric motors, the noise became even worse. Long hours of operation were nearly unbearable. Under such conditions, stories of ghostly voices and sounds began to appear in crew rumors and veterans' recollections. Modern science has attempted to explain the phenomenon in several ways. The most common explanation is sensory deprivation. When there's almost no stimulation from the outside world and the environment becomes too monotonous, the brain starts to fill the gaps. This may lead to hallucinations. Stress from long missions, chronic fatigue, disrupted sleep, and constant tension also contribute to altered states of consciousness. Another explanation is called auditory pareidolia. The human brain tends to look for patterns in random sounds. It often tries to hear familiar things like speech or music. The hum of running machinery, the creaking of the hull under pressure, and the sounds from ventilation systems can all become the raw material. These sounds are sometimes shaped into phantom voices by the mind. But these stories also have another strange feature. Submariners often report surprising consistency in what they hear. According to many of them, the voices are not just random noise. They sometimes speak clearly and give specific commands. In a few cases, the words were later matched to old ship logs or watch records from the same submarine. Some were even written by sailors who had already passed away. Of course, it is nearly impossible to verify such stories historically. Most remain as oral tales or submarine folklore. Unsurprisingly, these incidents rarely appear in official records. Still, it's hard to deny that the eerie mood of old submarines played a role in these legends. These vessels carried hundreds of crew members over decades. They completed secret missions and sometimes came close to disaster. That's why stories of ghost ships exist in nearly every navy around the world. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again very soon. Take care and goodbye.